if you're interested, this is my contact information. So um, there's my email address, my website. If you wanted to schedule a time afterwards to speak further, you can schedule a call on my You Can Book Me calendar. You can connect with me on LinkedIn already if you haven't. And also, you can read Google Business reviews from clients that I've worked with in the past and kind of their thoughts about the experience that they had.
Yes, I understand. Um, I don't know how to get anything started, so I'm will be learning from the bottom to the top. I don't know
Oh,
nothing.
very good. Yeah, no worries. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I think most of the things that I really want to go to is in nonprofit, and the other things that will want to do will only be to fund those organizations or something like that.
Hmm.
Because I don't think it's much money in what I want to do, but it's something I enjoy and I definitely want to do anyway.
Perfect. One of the things, just to kind of give you a heads up, if you're not familiar with, is an organization called SCORE, SCORE. SCORE is a nonprofit that actually is nationally. I'm sure there's an office in or a location in Orlando somewhere, and it's basically a nonprofit business mentorship. So it helps individuals like yourself that maybe want to start a business. They'll help mentor and coach you. They also have education or presentations and stuff there on various topics. So they're a good resource if you're looking to explore business ownership. They're a good help to that. I actually am having a present. I do a presentation for them here in Charlotte on February 11th, but it's virtual, so anybody can attend. But I would encourage you to maybe look up and connect with your local SCORE organization.
Okay, that's good.
All right. I never know how many are showing up, and if no one else shows up, that's okay. You and I will go through this together, so no worries. I'm gonna go ahead and get started because I want to be respectful of your time. As I mentioned, my name is Joe Forbidusi. So I was in the corporate world for many years and left the corporate world probably about 10 years ago and became a small business owner about 10 years ago. Since then, I've owned multiple franchise businesses. The Entrepreneur Source, which is what I do today, is a franchise business. So I'm a small business owner and a franchisee. As I mentioned, this is my contact information. If you'd like to book a time with me, you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or read some business Google reviews. The Entrepreneur Source is kind of give you a little bit of background about the Entrepreneur Source. We've been around for 41 years now. We're in our 41st year, and so we're a long-standing career ownership coaching organization. So the Entrepreneur Source is a franchise business, as I mentioned, and I'm a franchisee, small business owner. So I'm a career ownership coach. The For many years, the Entrepreneur Source has been ranked number one in category, and actually 2026 has just come out, and we've been ranked number one again there.
Hmm.
So one of the things I always ask clients, and I would ask you, is what's your why? Why are you here today? Why are you thinking about transition? What's instigating it, if you will? I will tell you what my why was is about 10 years ago. Again, as I mentioned, I got let go probably for, I don't know, the third or fourth or fifth time somewhere in my career. And I just became tired and frustrated that I wasn't really in control of my own destiny. So I really wanted to explore other options outside of business ownership outside of the corporate world and explore business ownership as a possibility for my career path. And really, this quote down here, "Control your own destiny, or someone else will," really is indicative of being in the corporate world. You're not in control. The corporation, the company you work for, is in control, and you're at their mercy, basically. And I just found that challenging, and I really wanted to be in more control of my own destiny. So that's my why. But I would encourage you to kind of think about what's your why and what's instigating, again, maybe a possible transition. So these are just a couple of the things that clients have shared with me in the past, and these may resonate with you, or you may have other ones. But again, it's the whole job insecurity thing with layoffs, downsizing, the markets changing, etc. Sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, meaning your values just don't align with what that corporate environment is doing. Maybe you have limited growth opportunities. Maybe you've reached a ceiling and you can't get through that ceiling, either financially or professionally. And a lot of times, too, people are just frustrated. They're unhappy. They're not getting any kind of fulfillment or personal growth out of the corporate world where they're at. So they're looking to transition. So these again are just some things to think about, and I would encourage you to kind of identify and define for yourselves, because this is going to be what you're going to get out of a business. You're going to get freedom, flexibility, fulfillment, and growth. And quite honestly, you get this out of the corporate world as well, but you get to different degrees. So freedom is really having control of your schedule, income potential, and you make the decisions. Flexibility is again, how do you adapt the business to your personal and family goals? Fulfillment is what do you get out of the business, or what are you getting out of the skills that are necessary that you want to develop? And then there's just the growth potential. In a business, you're able to reach the career wealth and equity and leave a legacy if you choose to. So really what you want to be able to do, and these exercises are all thought exercises that we're going to discuss today, but the goal really is to identify freedom, flexibility, and growth potential. What are yours? How do you define it? And what are those goals? Because that's going to be important, because every business is going to deliver a different level of each one of those. So really, what is the entrepreneur source and what is it that I do and how do I help clients? So it is a patented coaching system. And it's really a coaching experience that's really designed around helping clients explore, learn, and educate themselves on whether a franchise business or business ownership is right for them. And if so, what would that best businesses align with their goals in order for them to get educated on? Keep in mind a few things when I speak about the word or use the word terminology franchise, I'm not necessarily referring to fast food, French fries, and restaurants. Those are franchises, but those are not necessarily the franchises that we work with. And again, keep in mind this whole experience is about education. So what I provide coaching around is just education, learning, and exploring about business ownership. So we do that through some exercises. In the first exercise, and keep in mind, each of these exercises would be around 20, 25 minutes each to complete. And we'll get into these a little bit deeper in a second, but I provide all these exercises to you as a client for you to be able to do them on your own time and then engage back with me when you're ready in order to start to go through them. But the first exercise is write your own success story. We call it the U 2.0. What's the next version of yourself? What are your financial goals? What are your personal goals? And what are your professional goals? Let's define them. Let's identify them. Let's talk about what are your concerns, your fears, the obstacles that you either are facing currently, think you're going to be facing, or have faced, quite honestly. We're also going to discuss in there what we call ILWE. ILWE is income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity. So again, all businesses are going to provide you a level of income, different levels of income. They're going to provide you different types of lifestyle that you're looking to achieve. They're going to provide different levels of wealth and contribute to your wealth, and some of them will provide equity as well. So again, the goal really is as you think about transitioning into possible business ownership, is really to align with the right businesses and these exercises to learn and get educated on. And these exercises will help you define those. Discover what makes you unique. The DISC. This is the second exercise that we provide and that I provide. And it's an assessment. It's really, again, what makes you unique. So it actually produces about a 50-page report on you as far as how you show up and why you show up. And bottom line is it's every business, again, is so different. It's important that you align yourself with the best businesses for who you are and what you are and what you want to get accomplished. That's how you can achieve success, is aligning yourself with the right businesses. Then the third exercise that we're going to talk about, and you'll have the opportunity to go through, is business characteristics or business attributes. So that's where you're going to define all the areas of interest that you have, all the industries, because we work with over 250 different franchise businesses in every industry. So you'll be able to define, hey, these are the things I'm curious about, I want to learn more about, I'm excited about. These are the things, that types of environments I'm curious about. I want to work from home. I want a virtual business. I want brick and mortar. Whatever those characteristics are, and we'll get into this a little bit more. But those are going to fall under that business education. And once you complete the exercises, then the second phase of the education is called discovery and validation. And that's where you're going to start going through and discover. You're going to educate yourself, learn, kind of test drive, if you will. You're going to meet with franchisors. They're going to educate you on all the operations of their organization, the marketing, the financials, the training, every aspect. And then you're going to have the ability to do what's called validation. Validation is the opportunity to meet with franchisees, people that are actually doing the business, and learn and get educated from them. So this whole experience is about just getting educated, learning, and exploring. Keep in mind, there's no cost associated with this experience. There's no obligations, no commitments, no anything other than a curiosity and a willing and wanting to learn. And so usually then I get a question at some point, then how do I get compensated? How I get compensated is two ways. First, financially, I get compensated is if and when a client is awarded a franchise business, and if and when they choose to buy it, the franchisor pays a referral fee to myself as a coach. So think of like a real estate example. If you're looking to buy a house, you'd work with a real estate agent. You're not paying them anything, and if and when they find you the house and you decide to buy it, the person selling the house pays their commission. So our structure is very similar to that. But ultimately, how I get compensated is providing hopefully a valued and educational experience for my clients. So they're going to want to refer me to their friends and family and coworkers, or they're going to want to write reviews and recommendations for me. So my compensation is really through referrals, recommendations, and reviews and things like that. So again, I love this quote because this quote here is another quote that kind of goes back to the corporate world and kind of what goes back to my why is build your own dreams or someone else, excuse me, or someone else will hire you to build theirs. So again, indicative of the corporate world, if you're working in the corporate world, you're basically just building someone else's dreams. So you'd want to consider business ownership as an option, at least to educate yourself and explore and learn. So as I mentioned, this is the first exercise, the U 2.0. So the U 2.0 is going to, again, give you the opportunity to define your goals, personal, professional, financial goals. They're going to give you the opportunity to kind of identify what are you worried about? We're all worried about something. What are you worried about? Let's identify what you're worried about, what your obstacles or fears are. Let's build questions around them and let's get education around them so you can learn and educate yourself and become informed. Another aspect of that first exercise is going to be opportunities. What are you looking more? What do you want more of? What do you want more of? I want more flexibility, more control of my schedule. I want more independence, more family time, more travel time. I want financial stability. Whatever those are, we're going to talk about what are those for you and how we're going to talk about education and how you can learn about them. And then another aspect of that is going to be strengths. We're going to talk about what are your transferable skills. Everybody has transferable skills that have made them successful and will continue to make you successful as you move forward in whatever it is that you do. And what are those transferable skills? And the reason why, again, we go through these exercises, and the goal is to align you with the right businesses that can appreciate and value kind of who you are, what you are, how you show up, what you bring to the table. That's the number one way of determining what's the right business for you is how well it aligns with you. As I mentioned, one of the things that we talk about is ILWE, income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity. So again, we'll talk about that. That's also part of that first exercise where you'll identify your income goals, short term and long term. Again, your lifestyle goals. Wealth, keep in mind, wealth is simply the opportunity. Do you want to create and invest in a business that will allow you to build wealth in a positive financial situation for you and your family going forward? Equity is what that business is actually worth. So equity business will help you build wealth. As I mentioned, part of this is that income goals, where I'm going to challenge and I challenge all my clients to think about what's your 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year goals. Because in order to really start building towards something and achieving something, you have to have your goals and we have to be able to identify them. So we'll talk about your income goals, as I mentioned, your lifestyle goals, and we'll talk about wealth and equity goals. What are they? The second exercise, which is really an assessment, as I mentioned, is called the DISC. It's what makes you unique. So it's basically behavioral and driving force characteristics, how you show up and why you show up. So again, it identifies four key components: dominance, influence, steadiness, and compliance. And the reason why this is important again is because all franchises are going to fill buckets. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a financial bucket. We're talking about a time bucket. How much time do you need to invest in the business? How long does it take to be profitable? And reach your financial goals. And the third bucket is really what are the key characteristics of that business, of the successful people? Well, how do they show up? What are their skill sets? What are they good at? And that's what we're looking to align clients with is the right businesses for them. So as I mentioned, these are the four characteristics, and all of us are different and unique. And one of the key differences is going to be dominance. D is how someone handles problems and challenges. So second influence, how you handle people and contacts. Steadiness is how someone handles pace and consistency, and compliance is how someone handles procedures and constraints. Keep in mind, there's no right or wrong answers to any of these things. It's just who you are and what you are, and what's the best course of education for yourself to understand whether business ownership is a path for you. Keep in mind, as I mentioned, all these exercises I'll be providing to you. You'll be able to complete them, save them, download them, do with them what you want. So it could be a valuable resource for you in whatever it is that you may be looking to transition to. The third exercise, as I mentioned, is more about business characteristics and business attributes. So this is where we'll talk about what kind of role do you want to play in a business? Are you looking to keep your corporate job? Are you looking to be semi-absentee? Are you looking to be owner operator, et cetera? So what role do you want to be? Because one of the key components is the business structured in a way that will allow you to do that. Not all businesses are structured in all of these ways. And again, it's important that this is one variable that we'll look at. As I mentioned, we do work with over 250 different franchise businesses that are in every industry out there. So we have the ability really to align clients with the right businesses in the right industries for them to learn about. Another key component is going to be a business environment. What kind of business environment are you looking to be in? Are you looking for a home-based business? Are you looking for mobile, brick and mortar, work from anywhere, virtual? As you know, this business that I have right now, I'm speaking to you virtually. I'm speaking to you from my home. So this is a business that was appealing to me when I was looking at businesses, is that it was home based, it's virtual, and I could be anywhere. I'm actually in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I travel a lot. And that's one of my goals was I wanted more travel time. So this business allows me to meet my goals while still owning a business and meeting my financial requirements. Another aspect that we'll talk about is going to be the initial investment. All businesses will require an initial investment. And in a franchise business, the initial investment is going to be very clear and itemized for you in their financial documents. And so the initial investment, you're going to know exactly what it takes to start up the business and what the ongoing fee is going to be, or structure costs are going to be for that business. The franchise fee is a part of that. The franchise fee is where you're buying the business, you own the business, it's your business. You can have it, do with it what you want, sell at any time. The second big component of that initial investment is going to be your startup package. And that's where a franchisor is going to provide you everything that you need to get going, all the marketing, all the training, all the support, the website designs, back office functions, et cetera. So anything and everything you need to get going to launch your business, they're going to be there for you and provide it. And then the third element is going to be working capital. What happens in a franchise is they determine through their proven systems and models how long does it take for a business to get up and running and to become profitable. So they build in working capital so that way you know that you can have a ballpark idea of how long it's going to take for that business to become profitable. But most importantly, they do this so that way if you choose to finance your business, and most individuals do choose to finance their business, they're able to finance that working capital. So they don't have to worry about a month or 2 months into the business that they have to take money out of their savings account. They don't have to do that. They have money in the business for the business, and it's called working capital. And lastly, one of the things that these exercises are going to help us determine is the day in the life of an owner. So what happens is in a franchise business or any business, but a franchise does a much better job of defining it. They're going to talk about these are the key things that a franchisee is going to do. As an owner, you're going to do these types of functions, and you should have these types of skill sets in order to be successful in our business. So what I look to do as a coach is going through these exercises is really understanding what do you bring to the table and how do you want to participate in that business and what are your skills, et cetera. And do you align with the day in the life of a successful owner in that business? One of the things I would challenge you to think about, and I challenge all my clients to think about those three buckets that I have mentioned. So it's passion versus practical versus time. And what I challenge you to do is to define them and rank them. How do you rank them? One, two, and three. And how do you define them? Think of passion as what do you enjoy doing and what do you do? Uh, Return on investment is what are your income goals and the timing of those? And then the time investment is how much time are you willing to invest in a business and have realistic time frame to income goal. So what I mean by all this is that there's, again, all businesses are going to fill three buckets, the three buckets that I've been speaking to. The return on investment bucket, how much money a business can make and how long does it take to make it? The time investment, how much time do you have to invest in a business in order to be successful? And then the passion. And think of passion as a couple of things. Passion can be what you enjoy doing, meaning I love to bake, I love to eat, so I'm going to be a baker. That's great. So that's a form of passion. Another form of passion or definition of passion might be, I'll give you a personal example. My first business, what I was looking for at the time was I was looking for a business where I could be semi-absentee. I could be the overseer of the business, not the doer of the business. I would have people doing the business for me, which would allow me to the ability to travel and do things that my hobbies and my areas of interest, my passions. So that business really was a means to an end. That business allowed me the financial wherewithal and the time in order to take advantage of my passions that I had. This particular business, another definition of passion might be, is that throughout my career, I've always enjoyed and loved helping others, coaching them, mentoring them, educating them, and helping them see what might be possible for them and how they might get there. And so this business actually allows me to do this on a daily basis. And obviously, I'm doing this now through this virtual presentation to you. Is it's the ability to help you understand what might be possible for you. So my passion is helping others through education and learning and exploring. So, as I mentioned, as you go through these exercises, they'll take about an hour of your time. After they're completed, we would schedule multiple Zoom calls with myself, usually two, maybe three most, about 45 minutes to an hour. And the goal really is to, again, to go through all those exercises with you and really to kind of really define kind of who you are, what you want to get accomplished, what are your financial goals, personal and professional goals. Once that's been accomplished, then we're able to go and you're able to go into the second phase of the education, and that's called franchise discovery and validation. And that's where I'm going to introduce you to three franchise businesses initially. And you're going to start to go through a discovery and validation process with them, where that's where you're going to meet with them. You're going to get educated about their systems, their operations, their marketing, financials, everything about that business. And then they're going to introduce you to franchisees so you can learn and get educated from the franchisees, people that are actually doing the business. Keep in mind, this is a great opportunity for you to kind of test drive. Again, there's no obligations, there's no commitments, no cost. It's just your curiosity and open to learn. You also go at your own pace, so there's no time frame associated to any of this education. You schedule calls, you complete exercises at your own leisure. You schedule the calls with the franchisors at your own leisure. So you're going to go at your own pace. You're in control. Again, keep in mind this is really just about learning and getting educated. And as you're going through the process and learning, you and I would continue to meet and you would provide me feedback and talk about things that you've learned that you like and things that you've learned that you don't like that you feel that are obstacles. And what we'll talk about is can we overcome those obstacles and fears? And if not, then we'll eliminate those businesses and we'll move on to other businesses that would have different characteristics. So think of the experience like this. I'm actually in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if I said I wanted to get to Los Angeles, California next Tuesday, I have four modes of vehicles to get there. I can drive to California, I can take a train, I can take a bus, or I can fly. All four modes of vehicles would get me to my goal, but they would get me there differently. And that's what this experience is about, is learning the different paths and different ways of getting to where you want to go. And as you learn, you're going to find that maybe certain paths are not the right paths for you for whatever reasons, and in which case we would eliminate them and then focus on the path for you to continue to go down and get educated and learn. So again, this is kind of the discovery process. What happens where you meet with the franchisors, they provide you the franchise document. All franchises are regulated by the government in each state, and even if you're in Canada or other locations, they're regulated there as well. So they provide you all that information. Again, you get to meet franchisees. And then the key is why we go through all this is you cannot buy a franchise. A franchise can only be awarded to you, and you can once it's awarded to you, you can say yes or no at that point. So that's why we go through these exercises is in order to put our clients in the best possible position to learn. And if it's ultimately the right choice for them to go down and make, then there's a high likelihood that the franchisor will make that award to that individual. So another part of our education is around funding. So we do provide funding education for our clients, and we also provide funding referrals. So this is a couple of the key funding options for clients here in the United States. I also work with clients from around the world, and in Canada, there's a little different funding, but I'm able to provide funding education for outside of the United States as well. But inside the United States, there's the SBA funding. Basically, that's the government funding where you have to have a 690 credit score or better in order to be eligible. You can get a loan up to $150,000 with 10% cash injection or 10% down. A lot of times clients don't want to come up with the 10%. They don't want to use their own money. So there's other options. There's options of the unsecured loans. In an unsecured loan, you have to have a 700 credit score. The higher your credit score, the lower the interest rates that you'll pay, and you're able to finance 100% of your business at that point through an unsecured loan. And then there's also what's called debt-free funding, which is ROBS, where you would take a portion of your retirement account and basically invest in yourself, and you would self-fund. Again, we would get into this more thoroughly in the education, but this is just a high level explanation of funding options. So a lot of times I get asked by clients, how do I know if I find it? How do I know if I found the right business? So I offer a couple of things. First of all, there is no perfect business, and there's pretty much no perfect anything. So if you're looking for the perfect business, the perfect opportunity, you're probably not going to find it. But really, what this experience is about is learning about a business that has a validated system, a proven system, proven success record, and you're going to understand and learn what does that success look like, and does that align with you. And the other part of this exercise or experience is around feeling uncomfortable, but feeling comfortable in the uncomfortable. So many of us are uncomfortable with learning new things, but this is the opportunity in a risk-free, in a safe environment where there's no obligations, no cost, in order for a client to really just put themselves out there and be more comfortable with that uncomfortable. The goal that I have for you and for all my clients is this right here, is learn and understand that last 20 or 30%, which will all be you. So what makes a successful business? It's going to be you, the individual. But in a franchise business, what happens is they're going to get you to the starting point. They're going to provide all the support, all the guidance, all the education, all the everything that you need, that 70 to 80% starting point. And then that last 20 to 30% of what makes that business successful is going to be you, the individual. And that's where you want to learn as you meet with the franchisees. You want to learn from the franchisees who they are, what their skills are, how they've been successful, if they've been successful, what makes them successful. And your goal is, do you see yourself like them? If you see yourself like them, then there's a good opportunity for you to continue to learn because the possibility of your success with that business is much greater. If you don't see yourself like them, then it's not the right business for you, and we need to move on. Um, One of the things I find is an interesting statistic is this last part here, and please feel free to Google it. It varies, but somewhere in the range of about 80 to 90% of all franchise businesses succeed in the first 3 years and remain open after five, while approximately 50 to 60% of non-franchise businesses fail close in the first 3 years. So non-franchise businesses fail close in the first 3 years, 50 to 60% of them. Franchise businesses, about 80 to 90% remain open and are considered successful after 5 years. So there's a big disparity there. And what makes that disparity? Well, the two things. First thing is most reasons why a non-franchise business will fail is because they don't have the level of support and guidance and technology and marketing and all aspects of the business that they need to have in order to be successful. And that's where a franchise fills that gap. Franchises fill the gap with all those back office functions, the marketing, the training, the website designs, whatever, all the aspects that is needed to be done to be successful, they provide it. So they fill that gap. The second reason why a non-franchise business will close and fail in the first 3 years is financial. They don't know how much things cost. They don't know how much money they need. Things cost more than they thought it was. Every service that they have costs more. They don't have the money for it. They start negating services, and therefore then their businesses start suffering, and then it's a downward spiral. Whereas in a franchise business, as I mentioned earlier, you know exactly what that initial investment is going to be. So you know exactly what it's going to take to start and launch your business. And you know what all the ongoing costs are going to be that the franchise is going to provide you support on in order to be successful. Because keep in mind, Franchises are designed to create success. They're designed to make you successful. They want successful people, which is why they award them. They will only award them to individuals that are can be successful in their business and that they are solely vested in that individual in order to make them successful. Because if you're not successful, they're not going to be successful, which is why it's important to them. So a lot of times I get asked the question, if this is so great, business ownership, why doesn't more people do it? And that's a great question. The number one reason that why people that holds people back is fear. Fear is the number one emotional detour that keeps people from making life-changing decisions and reaching their goals. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Think about it. Whether it be buying a house, whether it be getting married, starting a family, moving, relocating, changing jobs, buying a business, whatever it might be, fear is the number one obstacle that holds emotional detour that holds people back. We refer to fear as simply false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. And that's why it's so important that we identify early on, if you remember in that first exercise, what are your fears? What are your concerns? Let's get education. Let's get questions around them. Let's learn about it and find out whether they are can be confirmed, if those fears are confirmed, or maybe are they just simply false evidence appearing real. There was actually a national study done, National Library of Medicine study done that said 92% of all worries, anxieties, and fears that we have never happen. 92% of all things that we worry about, we're anxious about, or fearful of never happen. Again, false evidence appearing real. I think when I read this study, I thought about myself. I thought about how many times in my life, and even now still, I might get anxious about something, or I might get fearful of something. I might worry about something. And once I experienced it, I realized I'm not sure why I was worried or fearful or anxious about it. It's not at all what I thought it was. It's very different. And it's not nothing at all, quite honestly, once I got educated about it. So again, I would encourage you to think about how to push through that fear. Top three fears, as I mentioned, fear of change, fear of the unknown, and fear of finance. I don't have enough money. I don't think I have enough money. I can't do it, whatever the reasons are. But I wouldn't let those fears get in the way of your learning and education. Again, that's all that this is about, is learning and educating yourself. I love this quote. It talks about courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the assessment that something else is more important than fear. And again, it goes back to how important are your goals? How important is the lifestyle that you want to lead? How important is what you want to get accomplished? If you have to have the courage to say, I'm going to put through what little fears I have or what fears I have, because what I want to get accomplished is much more important. And that's really what this opportunity allows you to do, is take advantage of that, again, in that risk-free, stress-free, fear-free type of environment. So this is kind of a graph that I offer to clients to think about. Is most people, again, why someone will not move forward in anything is really because they're comfortable. They're in a comfortable zone and they will never get out of it. And as you can see, in order to get to the growth zone and start growing as an individual or professional or financially, you have to fight through the fear zone and learning zone and growth zone. So in order to get to the growth zone, you have to go through the fear. Once you start addressing your fears and understanding your fears, you start learning. Once you start learning, you start growing. And that, again, that's what this experience is about. So what I always offer to my clients and challenge you is live your dreams, is give yourself permission to dream and learn about what might be possible for yourself. This is all that this is learning and educating yourself. There's no commitments and there's no decisions that need to be made, just simply a curiosity and an openness to learn. So another reason why you might consider franchise business is, as I mentioned, is you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. So you have a group of individuals, a team of people, an organization that's going to be supportive of you. You'll have a coach, you'll have a training, you'll have marketing, you'll have all kinds of aspects, operations. They're going to be there to support you in order to make you successful. Again, keep in mind, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And that's one of the key attributes of why a non-franchise business will fail. Also, is because they are by themselves. They're in business by themselves, and they've got to figure out what resources they need and how to secure those resources. Whereas a franchise business is going to provide them for you. So, what are next steps? What does this look like? So what I do for clients, and I'd be more than happy to do for you, is I create this client portal. So I create a client portal, and I'll email it to you if you'd like. And in that client portal, you'll have your own passcode to get in and out of it. So it's your personalized client portal. And in this client portal are going to be these exercises that I've been referring to that you'll be able to go in and take. So discover what makes you unique, write your own success story, tell us more about yourself. So those are the exercises. You can click on them, take the exercises. Once you take them, they'll be saved there. You'll be able to download them and do with them what you want. If you want to engage with me, you'll be able to do that as well. And we'll go through them. Also in that client portal is an opportunity is I provide a complimentary book on your career revolution, which is basically talks about career transition, talks about business ownership, fears and fallacies, things like that, how to go about it. But again, it's about the career transition and living the life that you want to lead. Also in this portal is you're going to find as many other educational opportunities. There's going to be podcasts in there. There's going to be blogs. There's going to be articles. So the whole client portal has a lot of good, great resources around it as far as education goes and the ability for you to learn and explore on your own if you want. But I would encourage you to join in with me, and you can simply do that by completing the exercises, and you can schedule a time on my calendar as well. Um, so I hope this has been helpful. Again, I went through this pretty fast, but I wanted to kind of give you an overview of what could happen, what could be possible. There's things out there, there's resources out there. I'm a resource that I can help you explore and navigate whether business ownership is a path for you to consider. And if so, what would that path look like? And then start aligning you with businesses for you to get educated and learn on. So with that being said, I'm going to stop talking right now and take a pause. And I'd love to answer any questions that you might have. So if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute and ask those questions. Or if you'd like, you can also put it in chat as well, whatever is the easiest. Oops, excuse me. Anybody have any questions or thoughts? Well, I thank you for joining. I appreciate your time. Um, I know, Eva, you're in if I pronounce that right, I apologize. I believe you're in Canada. As I mentioned, I do work with Canadians as clients, and there's a different type of funding that's available in Canada that I'm able to help educate you on as well. But I'd love to answer any questions. I'd love to know. Hopefully, you got some value out of this opportunity and experience, and love to know feedback if there's anything I can do differently or anything I can expand on or talk less about.